In 2017, Derek McInnes said no to Rangers. In the early hours of Friday, the 13th of June 2026, at 23:39, Fabrizio Romano posted on X what thousands of supporters across Scotland had been waiting to read. The deal is done. McInnes is the new Rangers manager. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, now is the time. Because the busiest Ibrox has seen in years is only just getting started. Romano was absolutely clear in his update. Agreement fully reached, formal steps remaining, deal done. That confirmation came hours after Sky Sports had already reported that McInnes had reached an agreement in principle with the club. A 3-year contract that represents the most symbolic return Scottish football could have. Scripted. The man who spent 5 years as a Rangers player between 1990 and 2000, who famously knocked back the job in 2017 and who, years later, came within minutes of winning the title with Hearts, is now walking up that marble staircase from the inside. As manager, as the first choice, the speed at which everything has moved tells you everything about the urgency of this moment. Danny Röhl arrived in October 2025 with a clear brief: bring the British title back to Rangers. 8 months later, the club finished third, lost both Old Firm matches against Celtic, and watched the very Hearts side managed by McInnes come agonisingly close to ending a long wait for the championship on the final day of the season. Röhl had been publicly backed by chairman Andrew Kavanagh just weeks ago, but football doesn't wait for statements of intent. RB Salzburg identified the German as the central figure for their summer rebuild and opened negotiations that, according to the Scotsman, resulted in a 7-figure fees, heading from Austria to Ibrox. With that money secured and Röhl's departure confirmed, Rangers wasted absolutely no time. A 4-man shortlist was drawn up internally once it became clear the manager was leaving. According to the Rangers Review, McInnes was the only candidate the club approached formally. That is not a minor detail. It is a declaration of intent. Whilst the press speculated about bigger names with greater media appeal, Kavanagh and Chief Executive Jim Gillespie already knew exactly what they wanted. And they went to get it in person, in Boston, where all three happened to be present for Scotland's World Cup fixture against Haiti. Within 48 hours of intense negotiations, the deal was wrapped up. Hearts will receive a 6-figure compensation fee, described by sources speaking to Team Talk as substantial by Scottish football standards. For the manager, they themselves lose just days in Lawrence Shankland depart for the same destination. And that is the detail nobody should overlook. McInnes was named Scottish Premiership Manager of the season for 2025-26. He took Hearts, guided the club to second place in the table, and came within a whisker of the title on the final day, before Celtic edged them out. That is his most recent CV entry. And Rangers are signing that exact manager at the peak of his powers, with the experience still fresh of competing for a championship point by point, against the same opponents he will now need to overcome. The difference is that this time he will have the full resources of Ibrox at his disposal. Rather than those of Tynecastle, Röhl will not be leaving alone. The Rangers Review confirmed that assistant manager Matthias Kaltenbach and first-team performance manager Sascha Lenz will also follow the German head coach to Austria. The departure of all three clears the decks for McInnes to bring in his own backroom staff, and already supporter forums are buzzing with names they expect him to target in the transfer market, with midfielder Lewis Ferguson mentioned frequently as a potential first signing, though no confirmed source has backed that claim at this stage, at 20 What is confirmed is this: Rangers return for pre-season training this week, with a training camp in Austria scheduled for next month. An official announcement of McInnes as manager is expected by Monday, according to the Rangers. In the meantime, the supporters processing the news remain divided. Some celebrate the arrival of a pragmatic, organised manager with a proven track record of making the most of what he has. Others question whether the rejection of 2017 truly belongs to the past. What both camps agree on is that Rangers needed stability, someone who understands Scottish football from the inside and who will not need time to adjust to the weight of an old firm week. McInnes knows exactly what that feels like. He played those games. Now he will manage them. The most important summer of the Kavanagh era has taken another enormous step forward. Röhl is out. McInnes is in, and the transfer window has barely had time to warm up. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe Derek McInnes is the right man to bring the title back to Rangers? Hit the bell and stay with the channel, because over the next few days, there is still a great deal more to come.